Okay, so we're moving on to Act 2. I'm going to try and basically do this all in one go because you need the fire shield for the most efficient strats. You can do it without the fire shield, it's just much slower. Losing the fire shield at any point obviously costs you a bunch of time. But even the strat with the fire shield is quite hard. So as a beginner, just getting to the end of this level is fine. You know, this is already going to save a bunch of time. So immediately what you're going to do is you're going to spin dash, and then there's a little ledge straight away. So you want to jump and glide and land to spin dash immediately again. And then you're going to go up a slope, and then when you get sort of halfway up, you're going to jump across and then grab onto a little like pulley rope thing, and that's going to pull you up. Important to note, by the way, this is only for solo Knuckles. If you're looking for Knuckles and Tails strats, I would recommend going and watching the previous video, because as shown in that, Knuckles and Tails don't do this level at all. So from here you're going to jump up, and then when you're sort of near the top of the slope you run up, you're going to jump again to clear the enemy, glide on the other side to land, spin dash, and you're going to get to the mini-boss room. Well, not mini-boss room, but you know, where the boss pops up and appears and annoys you. Messed up a bit there. So, when you're in this room, the boss is going to spawn in, and then what you want to do is hit him as fast as possible. Now, normally that would be like jumping on top of him, but because you have the fire shield, his fire underneath doesn't actually hurt you. So you can just stand where I'm going to stand now, charge a spin dash, and you'll hit him on the first possible frame. It's only one hit, but basically he'll sit there and like annoy you and have like sit there for ages, basically, unless you hit him. If you hit him, he'll move instantly, which is what you want to happen. So just like that, and then you want to land or finish up where I am now and charge a spin dash, because you're going to aim to jump right over the barrier for the next section, and then there's going to be an enemy that you want to jump over, glide, land, spin dash again. Just like that. So up here there's a little slope that you can make more efficient by jumping up, gliding across, and cutting the corner like you did in Hydro 1. So, like that. And then you're going to spin dash, and then there's going to be a section that takes you to the Knuckles path, and then a section where the floor drops down and takes you to Sonic and Tails path. We want to go to Sonic and Tails path here because it's going to let us do a glitch. So when you get through, when you hit this wall, just get to here, hold down, and jump halfway down the hill. And then that's going to let you run through here. Then when you get through here, you're going to go up the slope, and you're going to land on top of the spinning top. And then when you get to the other side in a certain spot, you're going to jump. It doesn't matter if you don't do that efficiently. You just want to get across to the next area. So just like this. So I actually was too low there. If you jump properly, you land up where that checkpoint is. So, this is MG2, the glitch. So you're going to get onto that spinning top, and basically you want to move the spinning top as little as possible, land at the max speed that you can, shoot off into the wall to the left, and then tap right as you're about to hit the wall, like as you're hitting the wall, and that's going to clip you inside of it. It is very fiddly to do. I managed to do it first time. So you'll get like a number of outcomes. Either you'll go off to the left of that pillar, and then you'll drop down, or you'll pop out to the right and fall through the floor like I did. There's also a third outcome where you get popped out kind of in the wrong way, and then you're just kind of sat there in the corner and you failed and you have to try again. In the event that you have to try again, you need to go all the way over to the right, and then all the way over back to the left to respawn the spinning top. If you don't have the fire shield, you could also reset the checkpoint, but it's slower and you lose the fire shield and your rings. And you definitely want rings for the boss, because the boss is scary with solo Knuckles. So when you're going through the bottom, in order to keep clipping through the floor, you basically want to keep alternating left to right, so I just spam them to drop down. So yeah, spamming it repeatedly. So now we're under the stage, right? And what we're going to do is there's a ton of these pillars that you can land on and get a speed boost with this top from. You want to find them. The first two are invisible, and then they're all visible. So you can go find a visible one or one of the invisible ones, but basically you just want to start moving over to the right. So I'll try and explain what to do when we reach that point. So I'm now looking for the invisible one. That's a bit low. That might have been one, actually. Yeah, that was one. And here's the visible ones. So What I do now is I tap right repeatedly to just maintain enough speed to hit all of these, because every time you do, you're refreshing your speed. So you want to keep doing it as much as possible. Now, at some point, you're going to want to hold right to go up. The issue is there's different ways and different reference points for how to work it out. So for me personally, I use a method where there are pillars at the top of the screen that are going to scroll past. After the third pillar, that's when I start holding right, like a moment after you've gone past the right pillar. There is another method where there's like garbage on the screen, but the thing with these methods is that the screen kind of can have a different position. So your camera can either be high or it can be low. So right now the camera is high. So when the camera is high, you will see the pillars. If the camera is low, you will see the garbage. If you want to get to the high camera, to use the reference points that I use and the ones that I'm going to teach you now, you just need to hold right a bit to raise the camera level up and then come back down and carry on as normal. It's basically, if you drop below these pillars, you'll have the low camera, and you can always reset it. So that sounds really complicated, but the best way to sum it up is you see the line where the black background and the green background meet each other? If it's in this position, your camera is high. If the line is closer to Knuckles, your camera is low. Like if it's much closer, your camera is low and you won't see the pillars. So then you're looking out for the garbage or you're resetting your camera. Now alternatively, you could count the pillars and always hold right at the same pillar, but I personally find that very stressful, especially considering how inconsistent leaving the ceiling is previously. I just find that very inconsistent. I'd rather have like a fixed thing that's not based on me counting, but that's just my preference. If you want to count them and use that method, go ahead. You'll never have to reset the camera that way. So anyway, I can see the pillars right now from this height, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep going and then I'm going to tell you when we get to the pillars and I'm going to hold right. So tapping right still to make sure I hit all of these. So 1, 2, 3 pillars, and now we're holding right here. So this piece of terrain that I've got here, I'm going to jump to the left in a minute and grab onto it. And then I'm going to climb all the way up to the top, and that's going to take us to Sonic and Tails' boss. Just like this. Hey Fo, yes, more tutorials. It's what we need. Again, just doing re-grabbing to get up to the top. Now, when you get up here, for the boss, I have just put myself in a very nearly put myself, in a very specific position. So I want the back of Knuckles' foot to line up with where the ground is invisible. Because the ground is there, it's just invisible. So, from here, there's gonna be a point where the boss's hitbox lowers itself. Now, the reason why we brought the fire shield here is because we can hit the boss from underneath. Because the fire from the bottom of the boss won't hurt us. This means we can, in theory, get 6 hits on the boss in this phase, which is ideal, because then we can beat the boss in one phase when we're up in the next section, right? It's very hard, though. You basically want to get 2 hits while the boss is up the top when his hitbox is at the lowest point, and then 1 hit as he's dropping down, 2 hits as he's on the ground, and the last one just as he's starting to rise again. I really can't explain much about the timings here. I'm just going to have to try and do it. If you can't do it, just wait to the left, and when the boss drops down, hit him twice, and then just let him fly off, and then you'll have to do the fight in a much slower way up top. So we're going to try it here anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that was perfect. That's exactly what you want to do. So basically, all I can say for that one is replicate that, because that's what you want to be doing. This means now that you can finish off the boss in the first cycle for the main section of the boss fight. If not, you've just got to wing it and pray. There's no real strategy to it. You can normally land 2 hits per cycle, but that's all down to you. Ideally, you should just be getting as many hits here as possible. But yeah, unless I mess it up in the next section where I do a full run-through of the level, I won't be able to show you, unfortunately. So 1 hit, glide into him, boss is dead. That was the perfect fight. And then fly up here to hit the capsule. Easy peasy. So because this is actually Act 2 as well, in this one you can exit to the game and then You can exit to the menu, sorry, and then reload the file, and it's faster. If you were, like I said, if you were Knuckles and Tails and you were doing this the glitched route from MG1, you don't do that because you'll lose your progress. But from here, you actually have to exit game, because in this state, the game will put you in Sonic's Carnival Night 1. So you have to exit game and reload. So let's try and get a clean run of that going anyway. So we don't actually, I'll tell you what, I don't have the fire shield now because I've reset the level. So I can show you the non-fire shield strats. So gliding there because I don't have the fire shields to not get hit by the flames. Jump here, roll down here, land on the blue. Jump through there, perfect angle. Into the wall. So that was the one where it pushes you out, and there's nothing you can do about that. You just have to go again. Failed it that time. So this is what can happen and why it's very fiddly. It's because sometimes you just end up doing this. So this is the one where you're on the left of the pillar. So now I'm just spamming left and right to drop down. So now I'm looking for the pillars. So here's the first visible one. Let's just go from this one. And I'm tapping right till I see the pillars up the top of the screen. One, two, three, hold right, jump, start regrabbing. So here I'm just going to stand to the left of the boss because I can't hit him without hurting myself until he's down here. So we're going to go one. Oh, I could have got 2 hits there. You can get 2. But yeah, 1. It doesn't really make a huge difference. You're still doing this in a lot of cycles. So here you can go for 2. It's hard to do it without getting hit though. But that's 2. Here you should be able to get 3 if Tails behaves. Missed the last one because of the fire. If you glided at the proper angle, you'd get it, you know. Here you can get 2. And the fight could have been over there with even 1 hit. But if not, you can get 2 on that bit as well. It's just kind of hard. So there you go. That's the less flashy way to do the boss. And then you hit the capsule. So yeah, that's MG2. So next is going to be Carnival Night 1 and 2, which is going to be the same for both characters again.